In this video, I'm going to preview the EU FNCS Grand Finals. We're going to talk about who I think will win, who I think will get globals, and who I think might just miss out. Please enjoy. Obviously, I'm recording this video one day before Grands, so the map isn't completely finalised. I'm sure teams could become contested, could become uncontested, so we'll see what happens. But with the map I have right now, here are my predictions. So before we get started, let's talk about a few teams that I couldn't quite fit into my top 10. One of those trios is Mr. Savage, Chap, and Reason. These guys have just got too much of an unstable drop spot situation. Currently, they are uncontested at Resistance Base. Do I think it's going to stay that way? No, to be truthful. Focus, Mixer, and Uppal are currently contesting Pahawa's team at Shogun Solitude, which is a pretty terrible spot. So you'd have to imagine they'd prefer to contest Savage. Beyond that, there's also two teams on the split to the west of Resistance Base. So it just feels like there's too many trios surrounding them. I think it's going to get messy. These guys are a good trio. There's still a world in which they do well. I just think that globals might be a step too far. Another trio that might struggle if they're contested is Videel, Volko, and Cringe. I probably would pick these guys in my top 10 if they were uncon, but their situation is too volatile. They're landing at Outpost Enclave. I say they are. They've actually marked the split below it. Whether they're actually going to land there, I think is unlikely. I think what is more likely is that they've marked that split with the intention of doing a surprise con on the team landing at Outpost Enclave. We'll have to see what happens. As you can probably tell, it's a chaotic situation. There could be two teams there, there could be four teams there. What it does probably mean is that Videel will struggle to do well. And it's not just Videel that's struggling with being contested. Pix, Dom, and Demus no longer have Utopia City to themselves. Dan DePuzo, Howley, and Hizix won a game in LCQ, and they're now landing there with them. This situation feels like it's cancelling out two very good teams. As I've mentioned before, Pix, Dom, and Demus, for me, are contenders to win a Grand Finals. And Dan DePuzo's team is very underrated. I actually did pick him out to win that LCQ game. I did the predictions over on my Twitter if you want to follow me there. And if they did have an uncon drop in this Grand, I think they could do well. But listen, two good teams, two good spawn fighting teams at Utopia City. I don't see either of them doing well, to be honest with you. There's still a day till Grands though, so one of these teams could leave. Since Pix, Dom, and Demus are already qualified for Globals, I could see a world maybe where Dan DePuzo chooses to leave and go to a different spot. If that did happen, then Pix, Dom, and Demus will 100% be in my final top 10. We can also talk about Cammy, iDrop, and Hari. They're a team that we just don't know enough about their drop slot situation. They're currently marked at the bridge split because obviously Shark's team didn't qualify, but they are contested by a team there. But that team could leave, Cammy could move spots. To be truthful, I think this one is going to go right down to the final hour before the Grands. So as of right now, they're not in my top 10. Could they enter my top 10? Maybe. We'll have to see. And finally, before I get into my top 10 list, let's talk about two final trios that I think could be outside picks. You've got Pradaj, Finchik, and Kantry, who have uncon pump power. Could be a good team. And of course, Trulex, Skavi, and Teeny. Again, uncontested. Trulex is very good in the set lobby. Don't be surprised to see them do well. Okay, so let's get into the top 10 list. In 10th place, I have Giras, Dinas, and Franek. This Polish trio are very underrated in my opinion. I talked about them in my last video. They have uncontested Canyon Crossing at the moment in this Grand, which I think could be a good spot for them. Obviously, that southwesterly corner of the map is very volatile because a lot of the POIs around there, you've got Shogun Solitude, the new kind of Superman Ice POI. They're not very good, and as a result, a lot of the weaker teams tend to land there, which means the whole area is just very volatile. You never know what a lot of the trios in this region could do. They can change their drop spots at a whim, which means it's hard for Giras to plan which teams to key, which teams to trade Surge with, because you never know who's going to be where. And I think that could be a factor that maybe holds them back. But despite that, I still think they're going to get top 10. They'll just sneak globals. And yeah, I think this team are going to do well. In 9th place, I've got Tayson, Haris, and Chicho, a team that's already qualified for globals. They have uncontested Crime City. I'm sure they could do well. To be honest with you, I'm not that excited about this team. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think top 10 is realistic. I think 9th is fair. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say about them, to be honest with you. So in 8th place, I've put Seti, Yapko and Panzer. I don't think these guys are going to struggle at all. I think they've got great firepower, they're good fighters, they're very good at playing mid-ground, they've got uncontested Lone Wolf Lair. For me, it feels like a recipe for a good tournament, and 8th place would be enough for them to make globals. So in 7th place, I've got Queasy, Swizzy and Mustache, and in 6th place, I've got Malabuka, Ping and Wox. Now obviously these guys are contesting each other at Demon's Domain. They're both very good trios, and I think they are going to cancel each other out, so I don't think either of them are going to win. However, I'm sure that in the games each of them win off spawn, they will make it count, they will get a couple of wins between them, and for that I think they're good enough to get 6th and 7th here. And obviously both of them are already qualified for globals, so they can afford to have a proper battle off spawn, which I'm sure will be entertaining to watch. Right, so now we're into the top 5, and in 5th place I've got Pink, Nebs and Kiro. These guys are landing at first order base, they should have it uncontested. We saw the signs in the last Grands that they're a team that has potential. Now obviously they finished 10th in that tournament, outside of the global spots, but I think everyone could still see that they had something. And in this tournament, I think it's all going to come together. I think they're going to put in a great performance, and I think that global spot is theirs. Okay, in 4th place, let's talk about Akira, Karama and Werex. It wouldn't be a LAN in Lyon without a French team, and I think these guys have got it in them to qualify. We saw they got 300 plus points in their heats, which is exceptional. Proves that they can get high placements in every game. They can just do well in these type of set lobbies. If they continue that kind of form, then I think they will finish high in this tournament and they will make globals. And listen, I don't want to hear anything about them having 2 controller players and that being a reason why they might not do well. They're good enough to do well despite that. I'm sure they have a good keying plan. I'm sure they have a good surge plan. I'm not worried about these guys at all. I think they're going to do well. Okay, so now we're getting into the top 3, and this is where the order of the teams could get switched around come Grand Finals, because I don't think there's much to split these teams. For now though, I've got Veno, Vico and Flixie in 3rd place. They've got Uncon, Brutal, Boxcars, as it seems that Kylie is choosing to land south of Resistance Base. So with that, they surely have to do well, right? I mean, this is a trio that won a Grand Finals in this chapter, and obviously they didn't have a drop spot in Season 2, but they still did okay. For these guys to win, they're going to have to get control of the islands that spawn. Vico's going to have a very good fragging performance, which I'm sure he will do. These guys are a real contender to win. I know I've got them 3rd, but I would not be shocked if they got 1st place. The top 2 is where it gets even tougher, because in 2nd place I have the defending champions of Vanya, Pixie and Marius. For most people, these guys are the favourites. For me, I think there is one team that may do slightly better, but listen, Vanya is a real threat to win. They have Uncon Flooded Frogs. They've been in great form ever since their Grands win. There's absolutely no reason why they can't win this Grands. I don't think I need to say too much more about Vanya's trio. I think everyone who's watching this video knows how good they are. And finally, at the time of recording, this could change by tomorrow, but right now, my winners for Chapter 6 Season 3 EU FNCS Grand Finals are Fridoxy, Pablo Wingu and Chino. Last time out, they came 2nd from Masked Meadows, and I think they can go one better this time. They currently have Supernova Academy uncontested. That's undoubtedly the best drop on the map, considering that Demon's Domain is contested. So I think based on that, based on their incredible fighting power, you know, the way they can perform in these Grand Finals lobbies, I think they have to win. I think it's that simple. And listen, maybe you can say that Veno and Vanya's trio are more accustomed to these Grand Finals, and maybe they're more likely to win. But for me, I just can't look past Fridoxy at Uncon Supernova Academy. For me, that is an absolute formula for a Grand Finals win. So at the end of all that, the 4 teams that I think are going to get the last global spots are Giras, Dinas and Franek, Seti, Yapko and Panzer, Pink, Nebs and Kiro, and Akira, Karama and Werex. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for now. Obviously, a lot can change on the map in a day. Teams can leave, teams can change POIs, so we'll see what happens. I will post my absolute final predictions on my Twitter tomorrow. Please stay tuned for that. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the FNCS, and thank you for watching. Cheers.